Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are watching this and you have not subscribed to my channel, I kindly ask you, please do so. That would be your Christmas gift to me. I'm trying to expand and get more followers and, start the new year off right with this. So if you haven't already done so, pretend there's a subscribe button right there. I'm just way too busy right now to figure out how all this works, but pretend there's a subscribe button and click on it. After you're done, the little bell, if you click on that, it'll give you the little reminder once I do new videos and upload them to YouTube. All right, all that out the way. So I have a question for you that I want you to take about maybe 10 seconds to think about. Who are you as a person? 1001. Okay, there's your 10 seconds, okay? Who are you at the core of your most inner being, okay? Now, I would imagine a lot of you are going to respond and say, well, I'm a student, I'm a daughter or a son, I'm a friend, I'm a coworker, I work at an employee, I'm a veteran, a lot of, and what you're naming are different roles that you occupy, okay? So I'm not negating that or saying that's not important, but that's not the question that I want you to answer. I'm not asking you for your roles. I'm asking you as a person, who are you at your most inner core? So let me help you out and tell you about me. If somebody were to ask me, the favor, Professor Campbell, Mom, those are typically the names that I answer to. Who are you? Well, I would say at my innermost being, I am a Christ follower. I am a Christian, and that would most definitely be at the top of the list for me because a lot of my faith is really how I use my faith to guide my life and the decisions that I make. And so really at my core, that's who I am. And that really sets the stage for a lot of the other characteristics of who I am. And so that's at the top of the list. Now, I will be honest, I wanted to do the same thing that I'm sure many of you say, because the next thing in my mind is to say that I'm a mom, and because that is such an important job and role to be Jaden's mom, and nothing really comes before that. And so, but then I had to stop and say, well, that's not what I'm looking for, because I'm jumping back into a role as opposed to who I am. And so I would say that I also am, and a lot of this I've mentioned in previous videos, that I've learned a lot about myself in the past few years. And so I would say that I am also an empath. And for those of you who don't know what an empath is, basically we are just very not empathetic on a level that a lot of people are. It's on a whole nother level to where it's easy for me to take on other people's emotions and feelings. I feel people on a higher level, I would argue, than a lot of people, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. Y'all like my Christmas nails. So that can be a good and bad thing, but I am an empath. Yes, I'm empathetic towards people, but I also feel people's feelings, their happiness, their sadness, their anger. I can walk into a room and really feel the vibe of a room. And then I also learned, because there's what's known as an empath. And then also, I'm self-characterizing myself, but if there was a check mark or essay to fill out, I check mark all the boxes on these. I would also be classified as a highly sensitive person. So a lot of times highly sensitive people are empaths, but not every empath is a highly sensitive person. And so a highly sensitive person is like a empath, but on the whole another level. So not only am I taking on other people's feelings and emotions, crowds can get to me. Not that it causes me having a diagnosis of anxiety, so I don't want to do that, but it does cause me to feel like I'm overstimulated. That's a good way to put it. I do feel overstimulated a lot of times if there's a lot going on. What happens a lot of times is when you are a highly sensitive person, again, the lines can get blurred a little bit on an empath and a highly sensitive person. But a lot of times you're classified as being overly sensitive. And yes, that has been something that I've been told even when I was a kid, that I was sensitive. I mean, there's things that would make me cry as a kid that just, didn't make sense to, maybe my siblings or someone else. So yeah, I would add that in. I'm an empath. I'm also a highly sensitive person. I'm also an introvert, high level functioning introvert. And again, I used to think, actually, and people can change, and so I think I've become more introverted as I've gotten older. But I used to think I was actually extroverted. And I have reasons for thinking that. But really, when you get down to the core of what an introvert is, where I get my energy from being by myself and not in crowds, and it's okay, like too many people. And the empath, highly sensitive person, introvert, they usually are kind of all one and the same. A lot of times, the empath is a lot of times an introvert. So it really makes sense to me on why I've been the way I've been for so long. And so that's another one, is that I'm an introvert. What else? Who favor is, I am a giving person by nature. It makes me happy. And I learned that a lot of people don't realize that there's people that exist that take pleasure out of helping people and seeing other people succeed and do well. And that's why I would classify myself as a giver. When I see that somebody is on their path of greatness, and this is one of the reasons why I started my mentoring group called Fit for Your Purpose, is because once you tap into your purpose, I get so excited to see people stepping into that and fulfilling that, and until it's going to affect so many other areas of their life in such a positive way. And so I would say that I'm a very giving person. Now, I'm saying all this stuff with humility, and I'm not saying it in any kind of way other than to give you an example of what I'm talking about as far as when I ask, who are you? I would also say that I am a confident person. I really don't struggle, and I'm not saying that I never have, but I really, at this point in my life, I have a healthy level, I feel like, of self-esteem. And so I'm confident. I have a decent level, of self-esteem. The opposite with somebody maybe saying that they're insecure, and that's, there's reasons why that happens. Okay. Obviously I am a female, I am African American. And so these are what I'm looking for when I say, who are you at your core? Because when you know who you are at your core, it's like it's comes before falling in, finding what your purpose is. In order to find out what your purpose is, you have to know who you are as a person, because otherwise you're just going to be spinning your wheels trying to, try different things, and, well, maybe I'll try this, and maybe I like this. But if you don't even know who you are as a person, because all of those characteristics that I just told you that make me up as a person, that means that there's certain jobs and areas in life that I'm going to succeed in, and that basically God created me for. I teach for a living, so perfect fit. If you ever do one of the Myers-Briggs or one of the tests that tell you what career field you should go in, I've done those, and teaching is at the top of the list. I don't do well around sick people, but I would be an amazing nurse doctor if I could be around sick people, but I don't like being around sick people. And I recognize that about myself. That's probably something I should say. I don't do well with people who are sick, and that's just, I wasn't created for that. So that is what I challenge you to do after watching this, is to really take some time, pen to paper if you have to, but really spend some time. And I hesitated because I was about to say, be selfish for a minute, take some time by yourself, shut the door. But I don't even think that's a selfish thing. I think that's something that we all need to do in order to move on to that next step. A lot of people are trying to find out, a lot of my students, a lot of the girls in my mentoring group are trying to figure out who they are and what their purpose is in life. But in order to figure out what your purpose is in life, you have to know who you are. And we all are somebody, okay? There's a lot of different factors in society that play a part in how you become who you are. But take some time to really ask yourself, who are you? Remember, not the roles, not the jobs that you do, or being somebody's sibling or cousin or friend. That's not what I'm looking for, but I'm talking about you. who are you at your core? Because once you figure that out, I would be willing to guarantee that the next step of really starting to figure out what your purpose is in life is going to become that much easier. Okay, so I'm gonna leave you with that. Remember, spend some time this week asking yourself, who are you? And at the end of it, you're amazing and wonderful, and fearfully and wonderfully made, because that is how God made all of us. But take some time to really figure out who you are at your core. All right. Well, I think this might be my last video before Christmas. So I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Happy New Year as well, because I don't know if I'm gonna film another one. I hope to do so. I'm going home to California on New Year's Day, so I hope to do a video while I'm out there. All right, guys, have a great weekend, and I will see you on the next video.